Welcome to JSR Voice. Now I want to discuss with you one problem under income from capital gain and its solution. Let us go into the discussion of that. In the previous lectures, I discussed introduction part in one lecture, and in other two lectures I discussed two problems and its solutions. And those who want that, you can go through the previous lectures. Those will be available in my channel. You can go to playlist and you search for income from capital gain. You will find all the videos whatever I did on income from capital gains. Hope that is clear. Let us go into the lecture of this. First of all, before going into solution, let me discuss what is capital gain and rules for calculation of that briefly. So here capital gain means if any assessee sells his capital asset, he gets out of that sale some profit, that is known as capital gain. So for this purpose, for calculation of income from capital gain, Income Tax Act is defining assets as two types. One is non-financial asset, the other one is a financial assets. Non-financial assets means those are tangible and the assessee can get it he can get it physically, okay. And what are the examples for that? Land and buildings, plant and machinery, equipment, gold, ornaments, jewelry. And here non-financial assets problem we are going to discuss, and what we are going to do here. What are non-financial assets? Just now I discussed land and buildings, plant and machinery, equipment, and gold, ornaments, jewelry, these all. So here we have to again determine whether that asset is a long-term asset or short-term asset. For land and buildings, 2 years period will be taken to determine whether the asset is a short-term asset or long-term asset. And for other assets other than this land and buildings, 3 years period should be taken to determine whether the asset is a short-term capital asset or long-term capital asset. So how we can determine? Take land and buildings. If assessee purchased that and used that and he is selling for less than 2 years period, means the assessee or the asset is held by the assessee for a period of less than 2 years, then it is known as short-term capital gain. If that asset, land and buildings, is held by the assessee for more than 2 years period and then he is selling that, then we can call it as long-term capital gain. Okay, for land and buildings, 2 years period will be taken into account. For other assets, 3 years period will be taken into account. If the asset is held by the assessee for less than 3 years period and he is selling that for less than 3 years period, then we have to treat it as short-term capital asset. If the asset is held by the assessee, which asset? Other asset other than land and buildings, for more than 3 years, then we have to call it as long-term capital asset. Okay, hope that is clear. And next, for every problem, whenever we are going and discussing income from capital gain, we should follow one format. Okay, so this is the format that we are going to follow for calculation of income from capital gain of one assessee. Okay, so I discussed all these formats and that introduction part in the first lecture of income from capital gain. Clearly you can go through that if you want. So let us go into the discussion of one question now. So this is our question. Okay, so let me discuss the question. Because always I say one point, before going into the solution, understanding the question is very important. Once you understand the question, your solution becomes easily. Okay, so you can do it perfectly and easily. Let us discuss the question and let us understand it first. So here Srimati Ganga Bhavani. Ganga Bhavani is the name of the assessee. She purchased a residential house. House is building. House means building. Okay, so how many years period we should take into account to determine whether the asset is short term or long term? 2 years period will be taken. If asset is used for less than 2 years period and assessee is selling that less than 2 years period, then we have to treat it as short term. If the assessee is using that asset for more than 2 years period, then we have to call it as long-term capital asset. So let us see when he purchased, when he is selling. So that residential house he purchased for 5 lakhs rupees. Original cost of the asset is 5 lakhs. When he purchased in the year 1977, 98. During that year he purchased. Okay, so he purchased in the year 97 and 98, and he would have sold during the previous year, that is 2003 and 4. He used that asset for more than 2 years period. It becomes long term capital asset. Okay, and one more point you have to remember here. What is that? The asset is purchased during the period 1977 and 98, that is before 1-4-2001. Remember this point, because while selecting formula for calculation of indexed cost of acquisition, we should check whether the asset is purchased by the assessee before 1-4-2001 or after 1-4-2001. Okay, once it becomes long term asset, again we should check that point also, whether he purchased before 1-4-2001 or after 1-4-2001. Hope this is clear. So he purchased here during the period of 97 and 98, that is before 1-4-2001. Okay, and next one is during 2003 and 4. So after some days, after some years, after purchasing that asset in 97, so later on, after few years, that is in 2003 and 4, she constructed 2 rooms. Okay, she purchased one house, and later on in 2003 and 4, she constructed 2 rooms for the house. Okay, at a cost of how many rupees? 2,18,000. This is known as additions. If any additions are made to the assessee, if any additions are made to the asset, we should calculate indexed cost of improvement also. Okay, so 2 rooms are constructed for that house. So some improvements are made, improvements are done to the asset. So we should calculate indexed cost of improvement here. And next, on 15-5-2023, she entered into contract. When? During the previous year, 2023, May. 5th means May month. Okay, so she entered, during the previous year, she entered into contract with Dr. Hari to sell the house for 22,30,000. Okay, during the previous year, in the month of May, on 15th date, she entered into one person called Dr. Hari to sell her house to that particular person for how many rupees? 22,30,000. And then what happened? And received 75,000 as advance. She received advance also. Whenever any person is ready to sell any asset, they receive advance. Okay, here how much Ganga Bhavani received as advance from Hari? 75,000. And later on, what happened? Later on, Hari decided not to purchase the house. Okay, so later on, after paying advance, our assessee received advance from Hari, 75,000 rupees. Later on, Hari, that person, decided not to purchase that house from Srimati Ganga Bhavani. Then advance, definitely she is not going to give it back. Okay, so advance received was forfeited. Forfeited means cancelled. She is not going to return that 75,000 to the to Dr. Hari. So she forfeited that. That is income to our assessee, to Srimati Ganga Bhavani. 75,000 rupees is asset is income for Ganga Bhavani, because she received advance from Hari. Later on, Hari decided not to purchase the house, so she is not going to give that 75,000 rupees back to Hari. She is going to keep with herself only. So that is income for her. So how to treat that advance forfeited? Let us discuss that point in this problem. That is important in this problem. How to deal with advance forfeited. And next, indexed cost of improvement. 2 rooms are constructed, no? Okay, that is known as improvements or additions made to the asset. Okay, these 2 points are going to be focused in this problem. Let us learn how to deal with those 2 points. And next, on 12-12-2023. So in the previous year only, in the month of May, she entered into contract with Hari to sell her house, but later on Hari decided not to purchase that. And after May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, okay, in the month of December 12th, on 12th date, she sold the house. She sold that house to another person. Okay, So person name is not mentioned because we don't require. So she sold, finally she sold that house for how many rupees? For 30 lakhs rupees. So 30 lakhs is a consideration received. Okay. And the selling expenses we give as deduction, no, from consideration received. It is 2%. Whenever selling expenses are given in amount, we can take directly in the format, but if percentage is given, we should calculate that percentage on consideration received always. Note this point. So 30 lakhs is a consideration, we should calculate 2% on 30 lakhs, then we will get the selling expenses. Other name of selling expenses is transfer expenses. Hope this is clear. And next, calculate income from capital gain. So they are asking us to calculate income from capital gain here. Okay, we will calculate that. Information is clear. And cost inflation index number, that is CII number for 2003 and 4. Why 2003-4 number is given? Because during 2003 and 4 improvements are made, additions are made to the asset. Okay, and that is what number is given, that is 109. And 23-24 number, already you know, you have to remember that number, previous year index number, that is 348, and that will be given in the question. But sometimes in rare cases previous year number will not be given. And for you all, for the previous year 2023 and 24, whoever is having previous year 2023 and 24, so you have to remember that previous year index number, that is 348. 2001 2 number is 100. Okay, so remember that. And next, but always that will be given. Sometimes in rare cases if they don't give, we should know those two numbers compulsorily. Next, let us go to the solution, but before going into the solution, let us discuss the question once. Ganga Bhavani is a assessee name, and she purchased that house for 5 lakhs in the year 97 and 98. So it is long term capital asset, and that also actually that purchases are made before 1-4-2001. And in 2003 and 4 she constructed 2 rooms to the house for 2,18,000. So we should calculate indexed cost of improvement also. And during the previous year in the month of May, she entered into a contract with Dr. Hari to sell her house for 22,30,000, but she received advance 75,000, and Hari did not actually come forward to purchase that house. He said he does not want to purchase. Okay, so that advance was forfeited, means assessee did not give that advance back to assessee. No one gives the advance back. Okay, so 75,000 is income for Ganga Bhavani. How to treat that we are going to learn here. And later on in the month of December, she sold her house to another person for 30 lakhs. That is consideration received. Selling expenses are 2%. We should calculate that, and we should give as deduction from consideration received. And here we have to calculate income from capital gain. Okay, so this is our question. And how to do solution, let us go and discuss now. So this is our format, students. Always we have to follow this format whenever we are going to deal with the income from capital gains. Okay, so on the top we should give heading computation of income from capital gain of Mr. But here not Mr, Mrs. Okay, Mrs. or Srimati. You can write Srimati. They mentioned Srimati, no? So Srimati Ganga Bhavani. That is name of the assessee. Okay, Srimati Ganga Bhavani. That is the name of the assessee. And here we have written the name of the assessee. Every time you should mention the name of the assessee here compulsorily. So computation of income from capital gain of Srimati Ganga Bhavani for the assessment year 2024 and 25, because our present assessment year is 24 and 25. That is why we are following all the rules and regulations of that period, and we are preparing the problem and its solution. Okay, so let us take the format. Here you already know that format. Same format we are going to follow for all the solutions under income from capital gains. You should draw particulars amount columns, and this is the order of all items. We should write the values of each and every item, and we should calculate income from capital gain. Hope this is clear. First item always is consideration received, students. Consideration received means sale price of the asset. Okay, assessee sells the asset and he receives some amount, so that is known as sale price. So selling price of the asset is called consideration received. So here our assessee Srimati Ganga Bhavani is selling finally that asset for 30 lakhs. Okay, selling price is 30 lakhs. That is known as consideration received. Let us record consideration received 30 lakhs here. 30 lakhs is a consideration received. Okay, and next we should deduct selling expenses or transfer expenses. Both are same, transfer expenses or selling expenses, that should be deducted. But here they did not give amount, they have given percentage, students. Selling expenses are 2%. So how we will get that 2%, on what we are going to calculate? Always selling expenses should be calculated on consideration received. Let us calculate that. Okay, so here I will calculate. What is our consideration received? 30 lakhs. On 30 lakhs, you should calculate 2%, because 2% is the selling expenses. Okay, 2% is selling expenses percentage, so we should calculate that. Okay, hope this is clear for everyone. So that is why we calculated this here, and after this, wait for a while, I'll just adjust this. Okay, so how much we get, that we should calculate. If you do this calculation, you are going to get how much? 30 lakhs into 2 by 100, you will get 60,000. So 60,000 is selling expenses amount. Okay, you have to write it here, 60,000 in the amount column. You to calculate, students, and degrees BCom students can use calculators in the final exams also. You can use calculators and you can calculate that. 60,000, and you should deduct 60,000 from 30 lakhs. You will get 29 lakhs 40,000. Okay, so that is called net consideration. I recorded here, net consideration 29 lakhs 40,000. Next, what we should deduct? Less cost of acquisition or indexed cost of acquisition. Any one we have to deduct, either cost of acquisition or indexed cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition means original cost of the asset, purchasing price of the asset. We deduct that if our asset is a short-term capital asset. If our asset is a long-term capital asset, we are going to deduct indexed cost of acquisition. In this problem, our assessee Srimati Ganga Bhavani purchased that house during the period 97 and 98. She is selling that during the previous year, that is 2023 December. Okay, so that asset is used for more than 2 years, because it is land and building. House means building. Okay, so we should consider period of 2 years. Whenever that asset is used for less than 2 years, it is treated as short term. But here she is using that for more than 2 years. She purchased during the 1997 and 98 period and selling in the year of 2023. More than 2 years she used and selling. That is why it is long term capital asset. For long term capital asset, we should deduct indexed cost of acquisition. That is why I am removing this cost of acquisition from here. Indexed cost of acquisition will not be given in the question. We should calculate that by using formula. So there are two formulas for calculation of indexed cost of acquisition. So these two formulas are there, and which one should be selected? We should see the date, whether the asset is purchased before 1-4-2001 or after 1-4-2001. If they are purchasing before 1-4-2001, we are going to take model 1 formula. If they are she purchased that asset after 1-4-2001, we are going to take model 2 formula. Here in our problem, she purchased that asset during the year 97 and 98. So before 1-4-2001. Okay, so we are going to take model 1 formula. I am deleting this model 2. Hope this is clear. Let me delete this. And what is our formula? Index to cost of acquisition is equal to original cost of the asset. Original cost of the asset original cost of the asset or FMV on 1-4-2001, whichever is higher, into previous year index divided by 100. That is our formula. So let us see how to calculate that. Indexed cost of acquisition index to cost of acquisition is equal to, you see the formula, original cost of the asset. What is the original cost, purchasing price of the asset? It is 5 lakhs. She purchased that house for 5 lakhs. Okay. So original cost we are going to take here first. 5 lakhs or FMV of the asset on 1-4-2001 or FMV of the asset fair market value. FMV means fair market value. So they did not give in the question. They did not give fair market value in the question. Okay, you can read question one more time. We can't find it because they did not give it. So if they don't give, it is nil always. Okay, it is nil. We will take it as nil. FMV is nil ma. And now you have to select highest one out of these two. Which is highest one? 5 lakhs. Okay, so 5 lakhs we have to select. I'll just change the color. What you have to do is you have to circle it. Whatever you are going to select, that should be circled. 5 lakhs. Around 5 lakhs you should draw one circle. Okay, so I'm just changing the color. So 5 lakhs is selected into, what is previous year index number? 348. 348 divided by 100. You see formula, same items we are substituting. Okay, divided by 100. And you should calculate these, students. You should calculate all these. So you should see how much you are going to get. Okay, so you should calculate and you should see how much you are going to get. So how much we are going to get here? We are going to get 17 lakhs 40,000. Let me calculate it once again. How to do 5 lakhs into 348 by 100? Okay, so how much we get? 5 lakhs into 348 divided by 100. We get 17 lakhs 40,000, students. 17 lakhs 40,000. So this is index to cost of acquisition. This is how we calculate index to cost of acquisition. Hope this is clear for everyone. Okay, let us record in our statement. In the place of index to cost of acquisition, I am writing 17 lakhs 40,000. Okay, and let us deduct that. 17 lakhs 40,000 we should deduct from previous amount. How much we get? Let us check it. 29 lakhs 40,000 minus 17 lakhs 40,000. So how much we get? Once check, students. So I too will check that. 29 lakhs 40,000 minus 17 lakhs 40,000. Okay, I am also using calculator. Okay, so we will get 12 lakhs, students. 12 lakhs we get, and we should write there 12 lakhs. And then next one is less index to cost of improvement. So do we have any improvement, any additions to the asset? Yes, we have in this question. Srimati Ganga Bhavani added 2 rooms for the house. So improvement is there. Since it is long term asset, we should deduct index to cost of improvement. If it is short term asset, we deduct cost of improvement. Cost of improvement means the expenses whatever she is incurring for improvement. Okay, index to cost of improvement should be calculated by using one formula. We should calculate it. How to calculate? I will calculate here itself. You can see that. We should take improvement charges, means additions, for making additions, how much cost she incurred. She incurred 2,18,000 for constructing 2 rooms. 2,18,000 we take. Okay, so 2,18,000 into previous year index. Previous year index only, that is 348 students, divided by index of the improving year, that is a formula. Cost of improvement, what is a formula here? I will tell the formula. Note that index to cost of improvement is equal to cost of improvement into previous year index divided by index of the improving year. Okay, so here I am calculating index to cost of improvement. How? Cost of improvement I took 2,18,000 into previous year index number 348 divided by index of the improving year. In which year actually improvements are done, that year index number should be taken. So improvements are taken place in the year 2003 and 4. She constructed 2 rooms during the 2003 and 4 year. So index number of 2003 and 4 is 109. That is why they mentioned here in the question. Okay, 109 we will take now, divided by 109. So how much we get, that should be recorded here. So let us check how much we get. 2,18,000 into 348 divided by 109. That is 6,96,000 students. 6,96,000. 6,96,000. Okay, that is index to cost of improvement. We should deduct 6,96,000 from 12 lakhs. So how much we get? We get 5,04,000. Okay, so again after this we are going to deduct deductions under section 54. In this question we don't have any deductions that are going to be allowed here under section 54. So we are going to write it as nil. Okay, so it is not there. If we have in any question, that should be recorded here. So we will discuss those kind of questions also in the next lectures. But here in this problem we don't have that. That is why I am writing it as nil. So next, from 5,04,000, if we deduct this nil amount, we get again same amount, that is 5,04,000. So this is in positive figure. It is known as income from capital gain. That is our answer. Hope this is clear. This is how we are going to calculate income from capital gain of one assessee. Here in this problem, income from capital gain of Srimati Ganga Bhavani is 5,04,000, and this is long term capital gain for her. Income from long term capital gain, because that is long term asset. So we should treat it as income from long term capital gain. Okay. So if you want, you can write here income from long term capital gain. If you don't want to mention it, you can also mention income from capital gain, but it is long term capital gain. Hope this is clear. So let me show completely what I discussed and what is the question once. This is a question that we discussed today in this class. And next, this is a solution that we did, complete format, and we filled all the values by calculating that. At last we found out income from capital gain 5,04,000, and this is a indexed cost of acquisition calculation. We took model 1 formula and we calculated indexed cost of acquisition, that we took in the format, and we continued calculations. At last we found the income from capital gain, that is income from long term capital gain. Hope you all understood this, and you can share this video also so that it will be useful for some other students, those who need to understand these problems. If you understand the class, like the video, share it and subscribe the channel. Thank you.